You have all read the title. Instead of doing an introduction, I want to show you guys the last 6 sets besides Retro Pack 2. Phantom Revenge, a deck building set where a lot of people like the archetypes in this set. They all have meta relevance and will get some more, especially Killer Tune. We have this box at $41, and it was actually lower at $35. Doom of Dimensions, this is our last core set. These are $36. This is actually quite good since it has support for all the Justice Hunters decks that were all meta relevant. Yummy, Draco Tail, and I'm blanking on the last one, K9. As well as it had Radiant Typhoon, a very popular and strong deck in Genesis, as well as plenty of other cards, even some nostalgic and good Starlight Rare value. $36. Justice Hunters, a deck building set that is on paper the most accomplished in a way of we had Justice Hunters and people, or not Justice Hunters, but we had Crossover Breaker, and that was the best deck building set people thought in a very long time, and I would agree with that. And with Justice Hunters, it was similar, but instead of 2 of the 3 decks being meta relevant and good and popular, it was all 3. Currently sitting at $42, $43. And you can see that the box, while starting off good, I don't want to lie, has been dropped and has even gone as low as $33 for a box. Duelist Advance, a core set that had a couple things. It had some stuff for Little Light, some Sky Strikers. I had cards, but like Holly Sue, which was an amazing ultra back then, a lot of money. Think Phantom, not Phantom Revenge, but Phantom Nightmare, where we got Promethean Princess and Poplar. $38, but this was a $30 set at one point. Battles of Legends, Monster Revenge. I mean, this is supposed to be a collector set, right? Plus, we got cards like Punk, we got Chibis, which I hate. I think they look like Funko Pops, but worse. $45 up to $50, so a little bit better. And then we have Alliance Insight. $30, and this set has been $30. Like, yes, we have the pre-sale here, but literally as we got closer to the date, it just dropped to $40. Why am I showing all of this, you might be thinking? What is the advantage? It's because you read the title. There's been a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dying discourse in the last 2-3 weeks. I've been getting it recommended on my feed. I've been seeing it on Twitter, people arguing, which, I mean, it's Twitter. Of course, they're going to argue, right? But everybody is bringing up this topic. And why are they bringing up this topic again? Is it because it's the new year? Is it because people are tired of playing the actual game, so they bitch about other things, which is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Fandom in a nutshell? Yeah, you could contribute some of that to it, but the big factor is that lately, and it's been happening more and more, and with the start of the new year, a lot of players are saying this, card stores are dropping Yu-Gi-Oh! And when I say they're dropping Yu-Gi-Oh!, they might hold the locals, but they're not ordering product. They may order a little product on demand. They might ask the players as they come in for locals, what sets would you actually buy here? That is something I've been noticing. And they are getting a very bare minimum, like very, very bare minimum of what they want. And that's not even like bare minimum of the bad set, bare minimum of the good set. I mean, they're done. And I want to talk about that, because it's really, really bad. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is these prices for boxes. I know that a lot of players are going to be like, oh, well, these boxes are cheap. It's cheaper for me. Well, first of all, if it's still going to have some money cards and you need those money cards and you're buying singles anyway, which singles do decently well at times, overall, decently well, but it does have a lot of problems for singles in Yu-Gi-Oh! Cool. But if you could just get those, be done with it, and just open the packs for fun if that's what you want, right? You want cheap packs to open up. Okay, cool. But it's not making them money. And in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the issues about Konami and what they've been doing to kill their game in general, and what they're doing to fix it, and what they can do to fix it. And I will just be starting off with one quick factor. Now, before I get into it, I definitely want a lot of opinions on this. You can agree, you could disagree. I would like, however, if you would comment closer to the end, even though for the algo it's better for the front. I want to get a lot of information here. And I think the best information is when all my reasoning is laid out and then I see everybody, talk about it. I mean, you could do whatever you want. It's a free country, but, comment whatever you like, right? But leave a like, helps get more people on this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the sponsors, the Discord. Thank you, my YouTube channel members. You get the drill. We're going to get into it here. So, distribution. What is distribution? That is the amount they pay to sell a box. Usually, distribution is about $60. It's been $65, and sometimes it's $55. It bounces between. I know that for Burst Protocol, it's looking like $63 for at least a few shops that I know. But they usually try to sell it at about $100 a box now, $95, right? Okay, so they make some money on these boxes, right? But if distribution is $60 and they get their cases and they can't sell them at above 60, well, they lost money. And you got to remember, even when they're selling at 36 at a loss, they're at least selling it. And you guys can go to your local card shop, how many sealed boxes from the past do they have? Like, look at throughout the years. This is not just something in the last 6 sets. You could say Synchro Storm was a factor for this. Tactical Masters was good, but it's been going down. Dimensional Force absolutely was a big issue with that, as well as other sets like the Legendary Duelists of the Deep and Soulbirdie Volcano, where they didn't even get to accept a loss. Let's say their distribution price was $60. They're selling that box for $20, so they're losing $40 a box. That's if they even sell it for $20. So these losses really hurt them extremely. And that is the reason why a lot of card stores can't carry them. This is 6 hits in a row. And this is not including all the other sets that were performing bad. One thing that I want you to keep in mind as I go through the more reasons in this video is that when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! Dying, I think I'm going to name this video something like Yu-Gi-Oh's death has come a lot closer. Something like that. And the reason why is because think about how caveman hunted a large mammals, right? Do you really think that these big mammals couldn't survive a couple stabbings when they were throwing the spear? No. They bleed out. And what people and tribes used to do is they used to follow them, right? Sometimes killing an animal and stalking it would take days. Where am I going with this? Yu-Gi-Oh! Does not have some sort of initial way to kill it. It is going to be many, many things that aren't getting fixed, and it's going to keep bleeding from all of those reasons until finally it collapses. That is what's going to happen, and that's what's been happening. Because even though people say, well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Will never die, and this and that, right? Or well, this will never happen, we've definitely been we are at the point of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where we could easily say, and every player that's played this game sees the decline of the game. It is obvious. You don't even have to be on social media at all. So keep that in mind as I talk about this video here. So the first thing, and I actually have a notepad. I usually don't have to talk about, I usually don't have a script for these videos. And I actually have been reading off a script here. But I want to make sure I hit reasons and I don't forget anything. So if you see me look at the side, that is why. So the first reason is that card stores, well, are dropping Yu-Gi-Oh! As I've said already, I've heard of locals dropping Yu-Gi-Oh! They don't want it there. It sells too badly. They'd rather do other card games and get a lot more. I've already spoke about that and why the prices are, so I'm not going to harp on that reason too much. The second thing is, and I like that I have Phantom Revenge here, is there's too many products. We get like, I don't know, like 15 sets a year or something. Some people are saying it's like 10, but I feel like we get 12, 13, 14, and I'm talking about actual boxes, right? Or some type of reprint set. We have so much. And even back in the day of Yu-Gi-Oh!, we never got this many sets. What they did was they made them more impactful and a lot stronger because they also expected them to sit on shelves for a little bit. They actually did. So even product that might have made money overall but would sell, make profit, but nothing too crazy, would be a little better in the long run because, hey, you could get rid of it throughout time. We don't have another core set, right? Oh, and, back then, if you ran out of Astro Pack, you'd just throw the packs, right? And they'd always have something at least because you got ultis, been ghosts there back then, all that. There's too many sets, and if players right now aren't happy with the game, they don't like as much, and we already know about collecting going to the ground, How are you going to release more Yu-Gi-Oh sets when you've kicked out the collectors? It's pretty obvious to see why this is happening with their prices. So way too many products or way too many sets as well. And I'm going to put this in the same reasoning is, like I said, why I'm happy looking at Phantom Revenge is constant product issues. I've heard a lot of issues about Phantom Rage. Our sets nowadays, our Yu-Gi-Oh product is literally a joke in the card game community. And you can say that maybe that's been there for a while. But in the last 2 to 3 years, it's been a lot stronger. And I don't want excuses for it. I know that Konami did try. They're going with a different factory of making some cards on some places. So now we're getting cards that are not Euro, but they look a little darker. And I'm trying to get more information on that. But at the same time, this has been going on for years. OTS as well. Like, think about Blue Eyes, right? Ultimate Rare Blue Eyes. You're opening up almost always light play on that card. Almost always. They need to get their, if they're going to sell product at this rate, they need to make sure not only it's good, but that the quality is good. Because if the quality is not good, you're just rushing out a bad product. That is ridiculous. And they need to fix that and address it immediately. Then we also have double or tripling dipping high rarity. Now, like everybody knows, this isn't a game to collect anymore because they will reprint max rarity and you will lose about anywhere from 50, 60, 70 to 80, 90% of your value. Now, I'm not talking, and this is the next point, is going to be overprinting. I'm actually not talking about overprinting here because if you have an imperm and you want to keep giving imperm a common, for example, right, or a super, whatever, right, yeah, you might overprint that staple, but it's not going to hurt collectors. However, when you make it a QC and a Starlight, right? And that, like, for Imperm specifically, making it ulti is a completely different rarity. That's fine. And it's an OTS ulti. Starlight, and then, a QC and rarity collection. Okay, we have 2 max rarities, but they're very different. Starlight is not really different from QC. I know it has a 25th stamp, but let's be real. As players, we know it's the same damn thing. Once it gets a Starlight with a QC, now they're dipping really far into it. And players are going to be like, wait, why am I even getting QCs and Starlights? We don't want to hold, nobody wants to hold them even. People are rushing to sell these high rarity cards week 1. They don't trust them at all. So players know that. And that's why Starlights and collecting higher rarity, and collecting has to do with, and people aren't going to like to say this, and some collectors are even going to disagree. Collecting has to do with spending money and spending a lot of money and having a lot of money in your collection. People like rare stuff because it's hard to get. People like expensive stuff because it's expensive and hard to get. That is collecting. There's a lot more. There's also cheaper collecting, like collecting from the anime. If you guys saw my binder, you would have no idea what type of collector I am because I put common scrap iron scarecrows next to ghost first ed ghost rares. Right? That's my type of collection, right? Either it could be or I'll have an ulti that's a memory to me, right? But I'll also like to collect like every cover card, right? Just as a collector, back in the day, I liked every cover card in ulti specifically. I also got ghosts as well, right? Like think Shadow Specters with had C90. We had Felgar. That's such a bad example. But you guys get the point. Like Stardust, I wanted ulti and a Ghost Stardust. Never got ulti Stardust because it was too expensive. But you guys get the point. Collecting in this game has been killed for a while. It has been. Look at how even Konami knows it because they've tried to be like, oh, PCRs aren't the same as CRs because you can't even collect collector's rares anymore. And let's be real, collector rare is like a lower max rarity compared to other stuff. So why, like Starlights, why would we even bother? They killed collecting. They think they're doing really well and they're not. Double or tripling high rarity was awful. I've gone over it so many times. Overprinting every single thing. We have, at this point, so many reprints that's not even funny. It's okay for cards to be worth money. I think Konami needs to understand that. And when they say they're overprinting, they're always overprinting a lot of the same cards, a lot of the same stuff. They're not even overprinting the stuff that we need a little quicker, like you could say staple, stuff like that. They're just going for DM era. Oh, it's collectible. We could reprint Dark Hole for the 20th time, or we can give another a millionth Blue Eyes. Oh man, Imperm has, or Ash has like 3 commons and supers and all that. Oh, let's print Ash again in this rarity. It's tiring and it's annoying. It's too much overprinting. We all know that. Why would I get any cards to hold, even extras, when they're going to overprint everything to death? And if I wait, it's going to drop by like 90%. I could get it done. That's how players do it, right? You gotta remember that you don't even have to be a market watcher. You don't have to be a vendor. You don't have to be someone who tries to make a profit in Yu-Gi-Oh in any way. You don't have to be a collector. You can be someone with, let's say, lower than average financial literacy, right? And know this just by playing and eventually observing your purchasing habits. So this isn't some well-known secret I just said. This is just happening everywhere because that is the new status quo. Other card games. One Piece, a game that I am actually learning to play. And if you guys don't know, I'm not a huge One Piece fan, but I read the manga and I really like it a lot. And it's kind of funny to me because One Piece, maybe this is because I'm in my infatuation stage with it. The cheap cards are like less than $5. Look so gorgeous to me. Like, I like some of the expensive cards. Don't get me wrong, right? Like, the mangas are really cool in One Piece, right? But you can get so many cool looking cards and cool cards in general for less than $5. Like, there's a lot of cool dollar cards. And they're holographic too. It's really, really awesome. And other card games, we also have like Gundam, right? Gundam is something that is still, in my opinion, something that is still kind of experimenting. Star Wars kind of had another revival, and I've been hearing a little more about Star Wars, but I still feel like it's a mixed bag. You have One Piece, which is obvious, and then you have Riftbound going crazy, okay? You don't have to play Yu-Gi-Oh! You can play another card game. And I'll tell you this, once you try another card game than Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't seem so good, you don't make this conscious decision to quit Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot of people get confused on something, and you could apply this to anything. League of Legends, for example, just randomly, or just any hobby in general, or something you really like, is when your interest feigns, you might stick with it because you don't have anything else. But once you find something that really invigorates you again, you don't be like, this is my last Yu-Gi-Oh! Locals. You just go to the locals for your last time, and you stop playing. And you go, oh, I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh! In 3 months. Oh, well, it's worse? Well, I got my One Piece locals. I got my Magic locals, right? I got my Neopets locals, right? You know, something. And that's how, what people don't understand. People always think there's like some triumph of, I'm done with my addiction, or I'm not doing this. No, it is usually a silent exit from a lot of people. Maybe there's a bit of a big boom at the end and then they really leave for good, but a lot of people usually silently leave. And why not for other card games when other card games are respecting their players and they're doing a lot better? Like, I definitely feel like I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? I love playing. I don't regret it at all, especially when I was young. When I came back to it in 2018, I don't regret it. I've met friends through YouTube. I've met community through YouTube. I personally can't regret it because of that, right? And I even became a vendor, right? And I've liked it a lot. Doing the content, all that. But to lie to you and say that I think that if I got to say Pokemon or One Piece back then, I'd make a lot more money. Views would be up. My community would be bigger. My locals would be bigger. It's something that I know. It's just Pokemon's just a random example. Believe it or not, I'm actually not the hugest fan of Pokemon. I would rather go into like One Piece or something. But I also read it and liked One Piece, so that's another reason why. But it just sucks. Then the other thing I'm going to say is they have controversies, right? And I'm just going to keep this one brief. But we always have an issue with Yu-Gi-Oh! Where it's a delay, or it's product quality, or it's something with pricing, or there's an issue at an event with a ruling. It's all these little things that just is bad, right? It can be drama on Yu-Gi Twitter, which they have like every day and a half. Anything, right? It's constant stuff. Now, a lot of it does usually, I mostly want to focus on Konami because, the player base in general is a separate topic, but that could relate to fatigue and all that. But Konami has its own fair share of controversies as well, from rule changes, what they do with time and all that, how they handle formats as well. Think about how they handled old formats like Edison and Go, right? They supported them until they didn't. And I'm actually going to I bit my tongue, damn. Well, that's embarrassing. But I'm going to talk a little more about that. So the last thing I say, and this is something where I think I'm going to get an eye roll here, but there is no main anime. I know we're getting this stuff with Striker and Dogmatica. That's cool. It's cool to have, right? But we're always used to a main lane series running at least after a while, and we don't have it. A lot of people checked out after Zexal. I will say, for as much as there are the Yu-Gi-Oh! Is nothing without 5D's crowd, after 5D's crowd, there is a lot of people who like Zexal, because a lot of players look at 5D's and Zexal and how great playing during those formats were, including myself. And then Arc V came out with Pendulums, and then we had Vrains, which a lot of people still find a lot of fun in the Vrain formats, don't get me wrong, but they don't really care about the anime after Zexal, I've noticed. And no main anime is really hard because a lot of people are people who just want to get very casual in it. There's a big difference between what people will call mid-core, which is, I believe, a term that Team APS popularized, and casual players. We have the largest difference between the two, right? For Yu-Gi-Oh! And casual players, they like their anime, they like their collecting of whatever they want for whatever reason. It could be money, it could not be money, and all that. Once we start shoving those players out and no anime, it really sucks. There needs to be something, right? And then I'm going to say what Konami's doing to improve this. Remember, if you guys can like the video, comment, and I'm never going to ask this usually, share the video. I want as many opinions and eyes on this as possible. Maybe even ask to react. You YouTubers, like, yeah, let's say you're in, like, I don't know, a big YouTuber stream. If you want to ask them to react to this video, I really want to get some more done in this conversation. I want to have the conversation. I want to get better conciseness about the state of the game and how to improve it, because it does feel like we have this topic a lot. But once I see many card stores dropping the game in any capacity, which I've been seeing even last year, that's when I know we're in deep shit and we are getting further into it. So what is Konami doing to improve? Because I do want to highlight that. So they are doing Overframe. They are giving us a new rarity. They think that, oh, maybe they're just tired of Starlight QC. Maybe someone finally realized they're the same damn thing, Konami. Now we're going to do something that every single card game has done for a decade. And that's what I mean. You're so damn late that it's like, I'm not going to applaud you for doing something. Like, it's kind of like looking at a grown man and he just doesn't clean his house at all. And then he finally is like, you know what? I'm actually going to take this one bag of trash up. I'm going to leave the other two, right, sitting, that have been here for 4 months, right, and are attracting rodents. No, not going to give you praise, right? Not even, especially when you're but with at least that it's a person. This is a huge company. They have no excuse. They're also doing Genesis, right? But on the Genesis note, and this is what I want to tie into how they kind of hurt formats that they were trying to make mainstream, is that Konami felt threatened about supporting Edison and Go because they made rules, they tried to ruin that format, and then they went back on it. And we remember that, right? If you've been in the Yu-Gi-Oh space for at least a few months now, at least like in it, you'll know that Konami tried to do that, right? And they tried to do it twice, actually. So everybody knew, okay, they don't like this because it could take away from the main game, and the main game's struggling, right? So they want to stop supporting Edison. They're trying to ruin it and make it into a card game like a rotting Goyo, right? And it's terrible. So now they try to stop that, but they're still kind of trying to hurt them. But they made Genesis instead. So they made their own alternate format, which is a point system, where it will help sell their modern sets as well. It's not just a old, Yu-Gi Boomer format like Edison, Go, Hat, right, all that. They can use that their new alternate format to make money, unlike the other formats. And a lot of you are probably thinking, wait, what do you mean? You can, they could put like QCs, they could reprint Edison stuff and bring it into the format. They could do some stuff. Yeah, but it is limited to what they could do, for sure. But even the Edison players I know bought rarity collections, so that should be something, right? Now I'm going to tell you guys something, and this is going to be the most cope. This is going to be the funniest, like, mockery thing I've ever said on the channel, probably. Because usually when we say how Konami would approve, I take it like the ban list and everything else. You guys know I'm realistic. I usually say, can Konami do that is actually probable? What are they actually going to do to move product, this and that? What is smart for the company to do, and what is an actual prediction, not what I just want. That is always how I've operated. And that's how I usually will continue to operate. Besides this next take. This next tape is so full of cope that, I mean, just in case you're not sitting down, you might want to sit down. I want Man, I don't. You know what? Clown me for as long as you want on this. I want Konami to apologize to collectors for what they did. I want them to not a post. I want a conference, right? A whole streamer video, and I want Konami to talk about how we've hurt collectors, we've apologized, we've hurt your money, we've hurt stores, right? Because remember, stores are losing just to have Yu-Gi-Oh at this point. We apologize for being so lazy and incompetent and being so money hungry and out of touch. That's never going to happen in a million years. You have better chance of winning the Powerball. But you know what? I'm angry. I'm just angry. There's nothing I can say. I can only give you guys bluntly how I feel on that. Obviously, they need to bring back collectors. I guess I'm going to go more on a realistic support now. So, they need to bring back collectors because obviously if they're trying to make a game where harder pool cards are for collectors, if there's no collectors, there's no use. So, there needs to be a guarantee of not reprinting in a certain rarity. For example, Starlights will never come in QC. Starlights will never come in a rarity that is close enough to Starlights. And every new rarity will be compared to them by people that are in the company and out the company to make sure that this does not happen, right? They need to do that in order for people to come back so that they feel like there is a guarantee, or at least they won't lose 90, 80, 70% of their money within a month of buying a card. Then what they have to do, and I'm saying this right now to improve sets, bring back ultis and ghost rares. This doesn't mean you have to take out the Starlights, by the way. Keep them. Maybe make it, usually get like, I think 4 Starlights every core set. The deck building sets are 3, though. It's really weird. But usually you get about 3 to 4 on a core set. Make it closer to 2. Make it 2. And then the ghost rares, make it 1 every second case. And then ultis, make it every second box. And really play around with it, right? Make sure that some cards only come in ulti, some cards only come in Starlight, right? Or, you don't even have to bring back the Ghost if you really don't want to, because your product quality is abysmal. Remember Ghosts of the Past? That's why people hate Ghosts, because they make them look like shit. There's cum stains on the back of that card, right? It literally looks like your mom's face after I'm done with her. See, I had to get 1-year-old mom a joke in. They need to do that. They need to bring back the old school way, and that's why I'm going to be called the Yu-Gi Boomer, right? But ultis look so good. There's a reason why players love older ultis. They need to bring them back. Stop with this new OTS shit. They tried it. I try to be good. I try to support them. Not anymore. Not anymore. Support all formats. You want the game to be good? You have to support all your formats. Support Genesis as much as you support Edison and Go, right? Don't try to hurt them, right? Make players in the game so people like playing the game. Because people will go to events. And if a place has events, there's a chance they show up, they'll buy Yu-Gi-Oh, right? They'll buy these stuff, right? You can even have a bit of a bigger hand in hosting locals, right? Where maybe Konami wants to make a bit of money more off locals. They could do something with that, just in case the Go players don't want to buy absolutely anything. But they should support all formats of this game, all right? And they can still definitely make money on all of them. This one's not going to work, but this is actually another kind of... I would actually, if I were Konami's hands, do this. I actually would. But because I want to show grace to them, is I would temporarily lower distro prices. Put them at 45. Have them try to sell them still at 100 though. So instead of paying 60, 63, 45, 40. And you guys might be thinking, why? Well, look, Konami's going to make a cut anyway, number 1. But number 2, I need them to show shops that Yu-Gi-Oh is still worth carrying. And I also want them, if they do fix the game and these sets do sell well, to make a good amount of money. Is it because I want to support card shops and all that? Of course, but it's also to make back. You cannot do 6 sets like this. You cannot have 3 years of bullshit like this. It's been 3 years since they've been doing this. 3 years. And I'm tired of it. By the way, I hit my camera up. Hopefully that wasn't for too long. But they can't keep doing that. They need to help card stores not get rid of their game. Okay? Then they have to slow down the fucking sets. Slow it all the way down. We don't need 10, 12, 15 sets and all this crazy stuff a year. That's bogus. We literally can just make sets bigger, and that way it has more value and it's a better set because, it has all this good stuff. You can make sets bigger, right? And players are going to be like, wait, the next Yu-Gi-Oh! Set's in 2.5 months. Oh, yeah, I can get a box of this. I can get a box of the next one in 2.5 months, right? Awesome. Instead, it's, all right, we have 3 sets coming out within 5 weeks. I'm going to choose one because I don't know if Konami understands that, like, people who play Yu-Gi-Oh! Aren't millionaires. No. And not everybody's going to buy a box or a case of every set, right? Not going to happen. Especially during, like, sneak peek where it's like 120 and you're pulling like $30 of cards. Absolutely fucking not. And then you also have, let me see my notepad here. Product quality. Like I said, I already said this a little earlier. Fix the product quality. I'm tired of product quality being dog shit. I want my cards to be near mint out of the pack. No excuses. It comes near mint out of the pack. Doesn't come LP. Doesn't come MP. Does have a little crease at the corner. Near mint out of the pack. That should be a guarantee. And I am at the point where I wish that we can film our openings, and if it's a bad quality, they send you one for free. This is ridiculous. There's too many things wrong with this game. And it upsets me. And you guys know, especially like the Chicago area knows, I don't really like to play Modern anymore. Like, I've been in and out. Like, I play Crossover Breakers. Like, I came back for that after a while. Like, I'll choose which formats I like although I'll be honest, I was dealing with a lot of busy things. That's why I haven't been playing as much post-Justice Hunters. I play Yummy, obviously. I've played it at locals and stuff, and like, cool, right? So it's fun at times, especially because if you don't play as much, you don't burn yourself out. But I don't have the incentive to play Modern right now. Genesis is cool though. I am supporting the card shops with Genesis. I show up just to support them. Obviously, have fun too. But to me, it's like, well, you know what? Yu-Gi-Oh! Is important to me. I'll be a participant to get the number up to help, if that makes sense. So with that being said, leave a like, subscribe. If you want, consider being a channel member. We have emotes, channel member videos as well that are really good. Like Market Watch is going over card in Rarity 2, seeing what you can get. Rarity 1, right? Some funny videos, 5 cards on your trade binder, right? Platinum stocks, all this cool stuff. And you have access to emotes. I was going to give you guys a Market Watch, but I want to get this while the blood was boiling and the iron was hot. As well as I think I might be coming down with something. I don't think so, but just in case I am, I want to save my strength and energy so that Saturday, if I could see everybody at Rosemont, have fun, and then see how I feel. With that, maybe because, it could just be allergies. I do have bad allergies certain days. So you guys will probably get a Market Watch maybe Saturday or Monday. I'll see. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.